Good women are dead. Evil bitches, rise up!
Welcome to the show, everybody. As you can tell from the title and tonight's intro memes,
Really? I can handle it.
we are going to be talking about
I'm certain that you cannot.
the hard questions. You know, we tackle the tough questions over here.
The 90s.
We don't run from the difficult questions. We don't shy away from the controversial issues. We are the one place, maybe in all of Black YouTube. I know Black YouTube doesn't like to touch these things, but we go where nobody goes, all right? We go where no man has gone before. We get to the bottom of the most pertinent questions in the modern American political landscape. Which bathroom does the transgender Congressperson use? Holy shit, did you know that during this historic red wave that just washed over the nation, they slipped in a troon? Yeah, they slipped in a troon. They fucking slipped us a Mickey. We were all high on the Trump victory. We were snorting lines of MAGA, and nobody noticed the troon in the fucking room. All the time we were celebrating, and there was a goddamn troon in the back of the room just waiting for an opportunity to strike. Oh God, it's terrible. It's terrible. America has elected the first transgender to federal government. And right away, the election of the first transgender to federal government has caused an issue without even trying. He didn't even like twerk on a baby or nothing yet. I expected him to do that at some point, but he didn't even try. Like, well, the person, the person didn't even do anything. Well, I guess he had to do a number one or number two. I don't know. But either way, apparently the transgender Congressperson is not allowed to use the bathroom in Congress, which is it's hysterical because that's your job. And you mean to tell me you can't use the bathroom in your own fucking job? At your own fucking job, you can't use the bathroom. I don't know about you guys, but I think we're back. I'm thinking we're fucking back, all right? He can't even take a piss at work because we're back. This is going to be fun.
Fuck you. War.
Rage on that beat, going crazy.
European fellas must swing quicker than Federer. I serve packing the bags bag on a regular. And I'ma tell her how she sing for me T-Pain. Your mama's hooked on the packs, I'll be selling her. I click Amazon, bang 'em and I'm a nothing. I feel it set with the lead like a mukbang. The magazine made me lean when I walk in the drumstick, making that bang like a punk band. Hop in the cab, I'm banging the crossword up. Head in the west and I'm banging the posh murder. Couple of cans and a puff on me death sticker. Click on my fingers, he's cutting me cock dead. Ringing the barbells, bringing the website. I'm flinging the dry food, bringing the cassette. Belling me non-stop, sending the lads there. Hopping me drops up, I'm running the man dead. It's the big bucks, I'll be looking at business. Stressed to kill, mama got me up on a writ list. Pole position, had a fella running the distance. I'll be banging, giving the triplets. The bigger the bag, the bigger the butt crack. The bigger the chance the birds up in my contacts. The figure's a big deal, a pen on the contract. Serve me up, but we give a tip on me so bad. And I'll be whipping a wire, popping a Benson. Pushing a pack, the full stack like a pension. Giving the fish scale, that's sliding up a penguin. Flipping the chick on my bills, why fuck a pension. Slow mo vision, I've been puffing the peace parts. Selling free fires to the fiends by the seaside. I'm a tear lines in the seams of my Levi's. With a stack figure, the Nicki Minaj way on. And I'ma tell her how she sing for me T-Pain. Your mama's hooked on the packs, I'll be selling her. I click Amazon, bang 'em and I'm a nothing. I feel it set with the lead like a mukbang. The magazine made me lean when I walk in the drumstick, making that bang like a punk band. Hop in the cab, I'm banging the crossword up. Head in the west and I'm banging the posh murder. Couple of cans and a puff on me death sticker. Click on my fingers, he's cutting me cock dead. Ringing the barbells, bringing the website. I'm flinging the dry food, bringing the cassette. Belling me non-stop, sending the lads there. Hopping me drops up, I'm running the man dead. It's the big bucks, I'll be looking at business. Stressed to kill, mama got me up on a writ list. Pole position, had a fella running the distance. I'll be banging, giving the triplets. The bigger the bag, the bigger the butt crack. The bigger the chance the birds up in my contacts. The figure's a big deal, a pen on the contract. Serve me up, but we give a tip on me so bad. And I've been whipping a wire, popping a Benson. Pushing a pack, the full stack like a pension. Giving the fish scale, that's sliding up a penguin. Flipping the chick on my bills, why fuck a pension. Slow mo vision, I've been puffing the peace parts. Selling free fires to the fiends by the seaside. I'm a tear lines in the seams of my Levi's. With a stack figure, the Nicki Minaj way on.
All right, that had absolutely nothing to do with anything. I just thought it was dope, and I wanted to share that with y'all. Now that we got that out the way, let's get back to the Troon show. Tonight is the Troon show. All Troons, all night. It is what it is. Hate me later.
People who are not vaginally presenting, forgive me for that, using those terms, but cannot use the spa. People who are not vaginally presenting, forgive me for that, using those terms, but cannot use the spa.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners, every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
It's hard to believe, but it's true. Even the liberal media was shocked Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners and illegal aliens.
Every transgender inmate would have access.
Kamala's for they, them. President Trump is for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Kamala supports.
She did things that nobody would ever think of. Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison. This is a radical left liberal.
Harris voiced support for cutting funding for ICE and for using taxpayer money to fund transgender surgery for detained migrants in 2019.
Taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants. She actually said she supported that.
She both wrote and answered in the affirmative when she was asked this. And she said she also supported it for federal prisoners.
These are things that, it would be hard to think that you would come up with taxpayer funding gender transitions for detained migrants.
This was just a couple of her positions back then.
He did things that nobody would ever think of.
He murdered a father of 3, sentenced to life in prison, Kamala Harris pushed to use tax dollars to pay for his sex change.
I made sure that they changed the policy so that every transgender inmate would have access.
It sounds insane because it is insane. Kamala was the first to help pay for a prisoner's sex change.
The power that I had, I used it in a way that was about pushing for the movement, frankly, and the agenda.
Kamala's agenda is they, them, not you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Them, not you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
With the power that I had, I used it in a way that was about pushing for the movement, frankly, and the agenda. And so look at my record to know when I was Attorney General, I learned that the California Department of Corrections, which was a client of mine, I didn't get to choose my clients.
Right, a client of the Attorney General.
A client of the Attorney General,
Right.
of the Office of Attorney General, that they were standing in the way of surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. And there was a specific case. And when I learned about the case, I worked behind the scenes to not only make sure that that transgender woman got the services she was deserving. So it wasn't only about that case. I made sure that they changed the policy in the state of California so that every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access to the medical care that they desired and need. And I believe it was not only, I know it was historic in California, but I believe actually it may have been one of the first, if not the first in the country, where I pushed for that policy in a Department of Corrections. So you can just look at all the work I've done over the years to know. I feel very strongly about this. And at its core, it's a civil rights issue. It's a justice issue. And it's an issue of humanity.
Well, Senator, thank you so much for being here. Good luck on the campaign trail.
All right, that one shocked me. That right there shocked me. I mean, of course, that's who you would be speaking to, but to actually see it, like, whoa. First, I heard the voice, and I didn't really pay it any mind. It was like, a deep voice for a chick, but, some chicks sound ugly. It is what it is. And then you look.
Of humanity.
Well, Senator, thank you.
Whoa. The fuck?
That ad they was running during the football games this weekend, claiming the vice president supports funding gender transition surgeries for all prison inmates and migrants in the U.S. That was nuts. I don't know if it was.
I wouldn't say nuts, but that was crazy.
That was funny.
I don't know. I don't know if it was the backdrop of football, but when you hear the narrative,
He don't want to say nuts because they talk about transgenders and somebody might get offended because they don't have nuts.
that ad they was running during the football games this weekend, claiming the vice president supports funding gender transition surgeries for all prison inmates and migrants in the U.S. That was nuts. I don't know if it was.
I wouldn't say nuts, but that was crazy.
That was funny.
I don't know. I don't know if it was the backdrop of football, but when you hear the narrator say Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners, that one line, I was like, hell no, I don't want my taxpayer dollars going to that.
I definitely see that. She did.
That ad was effective.
Kamala took a picture with a transgender. And it was just what they were saying, that it made it seem like Kamala supports transgender sex changes in jail with our money. That's what it came across.
Yeah,
Isn't that what they're saying?
That was it literally said that Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners, and it talks about how she supports funding gender transition surgeries for all prison inmates and migrants in the United States. That ad was impactful. It was. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, damn.
Was it because it was during football?
Yes.
I think it was because it was during football.
But then last week, like the contrast of it.
Yes.
But then last week they had the same thing running on Tim Walsh and said he likes tampons in boys' bathrooms.
I would not have paid that. I don't think I would have paid that commercial no attention if it was any other time. But when you're watching football and you just what the hell?
Do you feel like extra manly when you're watching football, Charlemagne? It's weird. Anyway, I don't want to ponder about Charlemagne too hard. So, like I said, we have finally crossed the Rubicon, and we elected our first Troon representative at the federal level. We've had one or two at local, state levels, but now it's big time.
I'm working my heart out to win in November. We've shown this state and this country who we are in the 1st Senate District.
Right now, I am very focused on LGBTQ advocacy, but I also want to make sure that I'm working in the...
You know, technically, even without being associated with the FBI, because you're in Congress now, Freeman's Journal, you are absolutely correct. That's Fed trooning. Fed trooning so hard, bro. We now have government-sponsored trooning. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be serious and do a show, but I just can't help. How do you not laugh at the fact that we have federally sponsored trooning now? This is fucking hilarious, bro. George Washington is vomiting in his grave right now. All of our founding fathers, all the founding fathers right now, they're looking for a way back. Every one of the founding fathers is trying to come back. They already grabbed the musket. They're just trying to find a way to cross that barrier so they can come back and show us the business, bro. Because they didn't write the Constitution so our government could Fed troon. We have federally sponsored trooning now. We are trooning at the highest levels. No one in the history of the world has trooned at such a high level. I mean, we are the global empire, and you are a lowercase, not a capital L, but a lowercase L leader. You are a leader of the global empire. Nick Fuentes is still right. You bitches will never be the leader of the global empire. Troons will get in there before you. I don't know how I feel about that, but it's wild. We live in strange times.
Broader progressive movement to bring change on as many fronts as possible.
4 years ago, I came out as transgender while serving as student body president.
And you have the voice of a male nerd. You sound like the guy that would fix my computer and like wipe all the porn off of it. You have the voice of tech support. Oh my God, Troon tech support. It's gonna happen to one of you guys sooner or later. Troon tech support's gonna show up.
In college. At the time, I was scared. I worried that my dreams and my identity were mutually exclusive. Since then, though, I've seen that change is possible. My name is Sarah McBride, and I am a proud transgender American.
So that was allegedly a big day for the Democrat Party. Never before has someone trooned so hard and trooned so high.
And I'm also the author of the forthcoming book, Tomorrow Will Be Different, Love, Loss, and the Fight for Trans Equality.
So, as a troon, are you married? Do you have a partner in your troonship? Or are you just out there slutting around like a modern boss bitch? Real shit. Real question. Are you a married troon, or are you out there just starting it up like the rest of these boss bitches?
If you don't have a man, you ain't nothing.
I know, right? That is so cringe, right? Listen, be forewarned. I'm going to give you guys the rare trigger warning. rare trigger warning. Rarely do I do this, but because of the nature of tonight's subject matter and the obvious awkwardness of the whole thing, I will occasionally make a joke that goes a bit too far. I see it now. I've already got a drink poured in here somewhere. I got to go find it. I'm gonna make a joke that goes too far. It might be too far cringe. It might be too far funny. It might be too far weird. But I just know there's going to be a lot of pause-worthy material in this show. Be warned. You've been warned.
I'm not running to be a transgender state senator. I'm not running to be a transgender candidate. I'm proud of who I am, but I'm running to work on a whole host of issues that I'm passionate about and I know are impacting people here in Delaware and frankly nationally. Whether that's a lack of access to.
What is going on in the state of Delaware that only a troon can fix it? Like, when in the history of problems has a group of people got together and they said, you know what, this is a problem only our local troons can handle? When? What the fuck's going on in Delaware? I haven't been to Delaware in a couple of months. I used to drop stuff off there every now and then. I never noticed anything strange, but I was working. I was on the road. I didn't get out and mingle. But what the fuck's happening in the state of Delaware that only a troon can save you? The Midwest request. I don't know how to respond to that because for the purpose of tonight's show, it's going to be really awkward and a little gay. I can't. I don't know how to respond to that, bro. You know what? I'm going to quote Diddy. That's how I respond to that. I'm going to quote Diddy. Can't stop, won't stop. Okay? There. You have your answer.
Healthcare, whether that's too often having to choose between their health and their paycheck because they don't have access to paid leave, something that, of course, COVID has really reinforced as an issue for us. The worst experience in my life, the most defining experience in my life, was being a caregiver to my husband, Andy, in the final weeks of his life.
Oh, okay, so you weren't out there thotting around. You are a widow. Your husband died. What's going on here? What is going on here? So your life partner is no longer with us, so you weren't thotting around. Forgive me for besmirching your troon honor. It was unfair of me to assume that just because you're a troon, you're out there busting it open for every weirdo who was into that kind of shit. My bad. What do I know? Here you are, devoted to your dying husband, who may also be a troon as well. We have to find out. We need answers, people. We're answering the tough questions tonight. Dirty folks, I think you're going to add one more thing to Delaware's known for list.
And for me, I believe that we have a responsibility to those who've lost their jobs and those who've lost their lives and the families who are struggling through both of those kinds of losses right now, that we meet this moment with lasting change.
Say what now? Excuse me. Endorsed by whom? Oh, wow. Black Jesus? Because, Obama is basically like modern day Black Jesus. And you mean to tell me Black Jesus endorsed the troon.
Let me just say this to my straight brothers. Look, you don't want to be no alpha male.
I'm telling you, man, this the reason why I be hating niggas, man. I'm telling you, man. It just be us. I be hating niggas, man.
Obama endorsed. So you mean to tell me the same time Barack Obama was out here talking shit to me because as a black man, I'm a bit misogynistic. This nigga was out here high-fiving the Troon camp? Bruh, Black Jesus was trying to talk shit to me while he was high-fiving the Troon camp. You nigga. Unbelievable. Damn. I wish I could say I didn't see it coming, but I mean, of course that's what Obama would do. You know, some of the first things Obama did when he got into office was basically some gay shit. Obama, day one in the White House, gay shit. Swear to God. I swear to God. You got double check me. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Day one in the White House, Barack Hussein Obama, gay shit. That's what he was on. So of course he supports the Troon in their campaign.
Let us continue to show what is possible when neighbors come together.
Character Matters in the chat says he's only half black, fam. Yeah, but the black half is the gay half, so it doesn't matter.
I didn't run for office to talk about my identity. I ran for office to work on policy. I ran for office to make a difference. I ran for office to pass legislation that improves people's lives. And
are those like really prescription glasses, or do you wear them so you can look like a serious intellectual Troon? You don't want to look like a party girl.
When that means defending the LGBTQ constituents I represent, I will do that. When it means defending the constituents of color that I represent, I will do that. When it means defending work.
You Delaware niggas. I got a feeling you don't want to get locked up in Delaware. I'm just saying, Delaware niggas, they vote for Troons and shit. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you don't want to jail in Delaware. You're going to have to get a knife immediately.
Workers, I will do that. When it means defending retirees, I will do that. But I didn't run just to work on one set of issues. And I didn't run to be known for one identity or, frankly, one election win, or for that matter, 2 election wins, my state Senate and hopefully this one. There is obviously an ongoing conversation that needs to continue around trans rights in this country that advocates in the movement and the public are having right now. And there's got to be room for grace and growth for people who aren't yet in that chorus. But I think most voters aren't really that concerned with other people's bodies and other people's lives. They're concerned about their own life and they're concerned about their own family.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm only speaking for me. Troons are concerning. Something about them I am concerned, okay? I am concerned, all right? You got me, goddammit. I am concerned. You concern the hell out of me. This is me at my highest consternation.
There's obviously a lot of soul searching right now going on within the Democratic Party, and that's a good thing. But what I worry about is that in the course of all that soul searching, some Democrats might reach the wrong sweeping conclusions. And there are a lot of issues that fall into that bucket. But one in particular that stuck out to me is transgender rights. Republicans spent hundreds of millions of dollars on anti-trans ads this election cycle, including one that showed Vice President Harris talking about government funding for gender reaffirming care for prisoners and detainees. If that sounds like a particularly obscure issue, it is, because it applies to a tiny group of people. And it's also a policy that, by the way, was in place during the first Trump presidency. Another one of the lines that ran over and over again in those ads and throughout right-wing media is this idea that America is faced with a crisis of boys playing in girls' sports. Now, these ads created this perception that the issues of trans kids playing sports was dominating schools across the country, which is completely false. Some people got pulled into that argument. I mean, immediately after the election, Congressman Seth Moulton told the New York Times that, quote, Democrats spend way too much time trying not to offend anyone rather than being brutally honest about the challenges many Americans face. I have 2 little girls. I don't want them getting run over on a playing field by a male or formerly male athlete. But as a Democrat, I'm supposed to be afraid to say that. And then last weekend, Congressman Moulton came on this network to discuss those comments.
I was just speaking authentically as a dad about one of many issues where I think we're just out of touch with the majority of voters. And I stand by my position. You know, maybe I didn't get all the words exactly right. But the point is that the backlash I've received proves my point that we can't even have these discussions as a party.
Look, reflection is good. But if that were actually an issue at thousands of schools across the country, it would be worthy of a debate. But there are just incredibly few examples of transgender girls playing in youth sports. And
the fact that we even have trans kids at all is a sign of a deep failure way, way, way ahead of this point in the chain. We got to go way back in our logic chain to figure this out. We fucked up somewhere along the line in our logic chain. The fact that we have transgender children is a sign of deep, deep issues.
When we see those examples, there isn't evidence that these kids are a threat to safety or fairness.
Now, that's Jen Psaki saying, and not only her, mind you, right after the election, almost universally, the Democrats were saying that woke didn't lose us the election. In fact, we need to go woker. The Democrats are not going to shake their faith in the woke cult that they're a part of. And this transgender issue is just another example of their loyalty to the faith. They are devotees of the woke faith. And they're not going to back down no matter how weird and awkward it gets. And I like that. I like that we're at this point where it's open and naked, and we're at a point of values, and the left has dragged themselves so far beyond the bounds of norms and decency that it's getting easier and easier to win the value judgment argument. Like it's hard to convince people that there's a value in encouraging and producing transgender children. Shout out to my man True Hype with the $5 Cash App. He says more than meets the eye. Yeah. Trans kids are definitely more than meets the eye. Thank you guys for coming out tonight, man. We are tackling the tough questions that nobody else in Black YouTube wants to tackle. Which bathroom does the transgender congressperson use? Like the video, people. Support the show. Hit that Cash App for me.
I need that money.
There's the base and there's the swing, right? So obviously the anti-trans ads, which I found absolutely deplorable. I worked as an LGBTQ activist for 10 years. I think it's outrageous, and I'm terrified for my trans friends and family members. Those ads were for the base, right? That was to motivate the base to get out there, and that base, that MAGA base, and the sort of, I would call, Christian nationalist base, they did show up. But I don't think that is what motivated the swing voters to vote for Trump. I do think there's a mismatch between, Democrats are really good at offering a lot of solutions.
I don't think that's right.
That's just for the base.
Not in the closing message.
I would disagree a little bit with that.
I'm not so sure personally.
I think there are a lot of families out there who don't believe boys should play girl sports.
They're not boys. I'm not going to listen to transphobia at this table. I am not going to listen.
Sorry, I was muted. I had this clip earlier, right after the election. This clip went viral, and I really didn't have a chance to work it into the show until just now. But what's significant about this is it sort of highlights the leftist desire, and not even desire, because it's not a desire, it's a reality for them. But the leftists have totally broken with reality. And they're so broken from reality that they're now aggressively fighting to detach the rest of us from reality as a power grab. There's a power in that. If they can lead us away from reality with them as the pioneers of this new pseudo reality, they can lead and be in charge, and they can dominate everything. And that's kind of the game plan. Like, if you break your reality to follow them in their utopia, they get to be the king. And they really, really firmly believe in their utopia.
I think that is what motivated the swing voters to vote for Trump. I do think there's a mismatch between, Democrats are really good at offering a lot of solutions.
I don't think that's right.
That's just for the base.
Yeah, not in the closing message.
I would disagree a little bit with that.
I'm not so sure personally.
I think there are a lot of families out there who don't believe boys should play girl sports.
They're not boys. I'm not going to listen to transphobia at this table. I am not going to listen to you call a trans girl a boy.
Are you going to allow me to finish my explanation?
When you use a word that's a slur, I'm going to interrupt. That's not how it is. They're not boys.
He literally says the word boy is a slur now. How long before the ADL puts the word boy on their list of hateful words?
A boy.
Are you going to allow me to finish my explanation?
You call a trans girl a boy.
Are you going to allow me to finish my explanation?
When you use a word that's a slur, I'm going to interrupt. That's not how it is. They're not boys. They're not boys. They're not playing girl softball. I'm not going to sit there and
reset for a second, because look, this is a really heated issue,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Sharmichael, I know you. I know that you understand that people have different.
And look at the reasonable, wise black lady here to guide us into this conversation where the word boy is now a slur, and we have to all live in the reality where transgender kids are a thing, and we got to expect it because she's a black woman. And that's the new reality, because black women are wise and they're here to lead us and guide us. They know the way.
Because there are a lot of people in this country who do not like Black women, but Black women are the base of the Democratic Party.
Views on this, I think out of respect for Jay, let's try to talk about this in a way that is respectful.
Okay, so let me rephrase this since I'm being targeted here.
I don't. Just to be clear, you are not being
but
targeted.
I am. But it's okay.
I'm specifically saying that I know that you are not intending to be transphobic.
He should know that I'm not. But he wants to sit here and bloviate.
But I want you to.
I want to give you an opportunity.
So the way regular people interpret it.
That's not regular people. That's not regular people. There's no consensus that these are actually boys. This whole thing about trans girls is a canard. We're talking about.
There's no such thing as regular people now.
Transphobic.
I want you to. I want to give you an opportunity.
So the way regular people interpret it.
That's not regular people. That's not regular people. There's no consensus that these are actually boys. This whole.
I remember years ago, back when Bernard Riley and I were doing our regular shows. Right at the beginning of it all, every so often I would bring up a weird sexual politic issue like this, because I always kept my eye on this sort of politics, because I saw a threat that was new and unique and subversive. It's not like, a typical bully kind of threat, I'll beat you up and take your lunch money. This is a very different kind of threat. It's the equivalent of like political grooming. The concept of grooming as applied to children, that has sort of happened on a political level. And so now we've been groomed to the point where we can have what's allegedly a rational conversation on CNN with these smart professional people, where the idea that the word boy is some kind of slur now. The usage of the word boy. And then not only is it a slur, defending the biological sanctity of boys is now bad. If you say that it is impossible for a male to become a female, or even worse, that it is wrong to want a male to become a female, you are now like some kind of evil. You are sinful now. This is the structure of a new social religion.
Whole thing about trans girls is a canard. We're talking about a tiny sliver of the population.
That may be the
and
case,
we're using
but my point in terms of its effectiveness.
Just get to your point.
My point in terms of its effectiveness. Regular people with children look at these things and they say, you know what? This is a bit too far. I do not agree with this. I don't like this. I think Democrats are going way too much to the left on social issues. They're uncomfortable with it. A lot of people believe that. A lot of families believe that. You may disagree with that reality, but that's why Republicans kept running those ads over and over and over again, because they saw the metrics suggested that they were working
in those ads over and over again, and using rhetoric like you just used, saying this is boys playing girls sports. First of all, we're talking about 5 people in the entire country. We're talking about trans girls being allowed to play with the people who are in their gender. And if you don't believe, you don't have to listen to me. Listen to the American Medical Association, the American Psychological Association.
The American Medical Association.
This is not.
I cannot find the extended clip of that exchange. CNN will not let you watch that easily. Because on the one hand, this transgender issue it's like a 1% issue. Most people in this country will never actually have to deal with the realities of it, let alone have to interact with a transgender person on a regular basis. But at the same time, it represents such a huge subversion of reality that it represents a threat unlike any other threat that men have had to deal with since the creation of the modern world, or ever, frankly, ever. We were accustomed to killing lions and tigers and slaying dragons and shit. Nobody warned us about the trans patriarchy.
It happened to one of my older boys, where I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This is before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. I was told, Xavier might commit suicide if he did.
That was a lie right from the outset.
Incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison.
That's
so I was
connection.
tricked into doing this.
Imagine tricking Elon Musk. That's some high-level evil right there.
It wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. Anyway, and so I lost my son essentially. They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
all right. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead.
Why are the majority of the transgenders male to female? This is why, as a man, I take such affront to the whole concept, because it seems to be uniquely a threat against men. I mean, there are a handful of chicks who like try to be dudes or whatever, and you know, they struggle ugly. But at the same time, there seems to be the standard representation of transgenderism, which is a man who is becoming a woman. And the intense promotion of that seems also like an attack, an aggression upon masculinity. And so I take it personal.
So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
I can't imagine what that would be like.
yeah. So,
yeah, and there's lots of people in that situation now.
Right.
It's not pretty, and lots of demolished kids.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason to be the final straw. All right, so let's.
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that, and we're making some progress.
Join the club.
Yeah.
Fuck you. War.
What have I been under a rock? Barack Obama had a trans nanny growing up. Okay, so back in 2012, the Associated Press interviewed Evie.
Why are we just now finding out about this? I'm sure this could have been easily ascertained during either of his presidential runs. But I gotta wait for Candace Owens to break the fucking story? Oh my God, what's happening here?
This is Evie, by the way, not dressed as a woman, but Evie, whatever. Let's just throw it to a clip and let you watch.
66-year-old Evie walks the streets of her Indonesian slum. She lives in a tiny room, subsisting on money she earns from washing clothes. Evie's meager existence belies a startling truth. She was once nanny to President Barack Obama. Evie says she's always been proud that the person she cared for, drove to school, and cooked for ended up being #1 in the world. The future president was just 8 years old at the time. In the late 1960s, his mother, Ann Dunham, married her second husband and moved to Indonesia. Dunham was impressed by Evie's cooking ability and offered her a job. For 2 years, Evie lived with Obama and his family in this Jakarta home, but she thinks the young Obama didn't know one fundamental truth about her. Born a man, Evie identifies as a woman.
Yo, what the fuck is going on in South Asia? They do a lot of queer stuff over there, man. It's a whole lot of ladyboy shit going on. It's not just Thailand. Thailand's the capital, but there's a whole country. There's a whole subcontinent with just ladyboys floating around, apparently.
Evie says Ann Dunham might have known she was transgendered, but she never dressed as a woman in front of young Barry. And it was a time of brutal dictatorship when soldiers would beat and round up so-called banshees. Evie says soldiers once shaved.
They called them banshees. Oh, shit. Isn't it dope how everywhere around the world has some kind of weird, shocking slur for that kind of shit? A fucking banshee. Some kind of night creature.
Off her long black hair and burned her with lit cigarettes. Even today, transgendered people have a difficult time in this largely Muslim nation of 240 million people. This representative of an influential Islamic group says transgendered people are wrong, and they deny the teachings of Islam. And so, Evie has struggled through life, saying she's never found suitable work since Obama and his family left the country in the early 1970s.
How come Obama don't look out for his transgender nanny? This how you know a nigga ain't loyal. This how you know niggas ain't loyal, bro. You don't even look out for the motherfuckers that was looking out for you when you was nobody. When you was just a little nobody. You ain't have nobody but this transgender dude taking care of you. Now he's struggling and you don't want to look out for him. You don't want to holler at your boy. That's how you know Obama ain't shit. He don't got no loyalty.
But she says Obama's election gave her a reason to feel proud for the first time in a long time.
Okay, so elsewhere in the AP's investigation, Evie said this. This is, again, directly from the AP article. He was so young, that's referring to Barry Soetoro, and I never let him see me wearing women's clothes, but he did see me trying on his mother's lipstick sometimes.
How many people think Obama's nanny touched him? I know, right? Where the fuck did you come from with this kind of wild conspiracy theory? It was my friend Tito, Mexican. Well, actually, he's from Austin, Texas. Tito made me think of that. I blame Tito. Tito's is the reason why I think of such things, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying, if you had to trace the origin of Barack's weirdness, and then you were like, you hit a dead end, and then suddenly you find out, well, he did have a transgender nanny. It's like, aha! Gotcha, bitch. That's probably what he said to little Barry. Then he diddled him. It's presidential training.
That used to really crack him up. Then, elsewhere in the piece, they confirm that neighbors of Barry Soetoro and Dunham dispute Evie's claims and say that Evie wasn't just wearing lipstick, but did in fact leave the house wearing female clothes. Here is a photo of Evie, by the way, fully dressed up.
Damn, son. Damn. It's all in your history, Obama. Barry. Can I call you Barry? That's what they call you out here in the bathhouse. Barry, how come you ain't want to tell nobody about this part of your childhood? And then, you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about this shit? So Barack writes this fucking autobiography, Dreams of My Father, where he kind of insinuates, my absentee dad was the reason why I have some kind of weird hole in my heart. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Did we question the transgender about what's wrong with you? I mean, I know your absentee dad wasn't there, but your other dad, he let you hang around with this guy. And I'm just saying, instead of blaming your black dad, maybe we should be asking some other questions. They be trying to blame the black guy all the time, bro. All the time. They always want to blame the black guy. No, it wasn't your daddy, bro. Your daddy never touched you. It was not your dad. It wasn't your dad. Your dad didn't do shit to you, bro. He fucked your mother and left like most guys. Like most of the guys in her life. He smashed and dashed. That nigga skeeted and left the baby, so he skeeted all the way back to Kenya. It's not his fault he was better at this game than she was. Now, he want to write this fucking my father left me ass autobiography. No, your father didn't leave you. Your nanny diddled you. That's what happened. All right, that's my theory anyway. That's my theory.
I'm speechless, I think. What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? Evie apparently was very much accepted as a transgender individual by Stanley Dunham, Barack Obama's mother, so much so that she allowed Evie to wear her lipstick, allowed Evie to be around her child wearing her lipstick. And if the neighbors are telling the truth, which I feel like they are, Evie was dressed as a woman around a young Barry Soetoro.
It was just a game they used to play. There's nothing weird about it. It was just a little fun game they used to play. That weird guy that was friends with Mom's mysterious South Asian husband, they used to just play this fun game where he would wear Mom's lipstick and put on his mom's shoes. And hey, sometimes he would wear one of Mom's really nice dresses, right? Because, it was a fun game. And everybody laughed and laughed and laughed. He said they would play a hide and go get it. Oh no. You guys are awful.
Okay, so why am I bringing this up? Well, first and foremost, because it's insane. Secondly, because it's a little too much synergy, as I said at the top of the show, between the mysterious upbringing of Emmanuel Macron, okay, and Barack Obama. Just like for whatever reason, they are entered into these Catholic schools when they're really young, and they have this extraordinarily close relationships with their grandparents. Like Emmanuel Macron, the exact same thing. This sort of introduction to transgenderism at an incredibly young age, the entire mainstream media sort of colluding to cover their tracks. What the hell is going on? What's going on? I'm going to ask you guys seriously, what is going on? Because it's starting to look to me like a program, like a global government program, which potentially is breeding world leaders in very disgusting ways.
I'm with Candace. I want to know what the fuck is going on, all right? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Somebody tell me what's going on, all right?
And Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace has introduced a bill in the House that would ban transgender women from using women's restrooms at the Capitol. Earlier, she was asked whether it's a response to the first ever trans representative elected to Congress. Here's her response.
Yes, and absolutely, and then some. I'm not going to stand for a man, if someone with a penis is in the women's locker room.
So, Jay, what are other Republicans saying about this bill, and is it likely to become law?
Well, the speaker was just asked about this as well, and it's unclear if this would be maybe folded in to the broader House rules package or if Nancy Mace would still put this up on the floor for a vote. It specifically refers to bathrooms in the Capitol, in the United States Capitol. Here's what Speaker Johnson said when he was asked about all of this just moments.
What if he just has to bring like a empty jar to work every day? And then, like, you got staffers and shit, so somebody on the staff has to, like, take the empty jar and carry it into the bathroom. Well, it won't be empty, but you know what I'm saying.
I'm not going to address the plans on any of that. I just told you what I'm going to say about the issue. I'm not going to engage in this. We don't look down upon anyone. We treat everybody with dignity and respect. That's a principle that I've pursued my whole life. And we will take care of this, issue of first impression for Congress, as we will any other thing. We'll provide appropriate accommodation for every member of Congress.
Now, when he says issue of first impression, Diane, he's referring to the fact that Congress has never had to grapple with this before because there's never been a transgender member of the House of Representatives. It's unclear if Johnson is going to go along with this plan of Nancy Mace's. It would need his support. He seemed to indicate in the press conference that he was open to at least considering the idea because, as he says, it's something that, states across the country have grappled with, but unclear if he's going to fully buy into what Nancy Mace has said she wants to do.
Mr. Speaker, is freshman-elect Sarah McBride a man or a woman?
Look, I'm not going to get into this. We welcome all new members with open arms who are duly elected representatives of the people. I believe it's a command that we treat all persons with dignity and respect, and we will. And I'm not going to engage in silly debates about this. There's a concern about the uses of restroom facilities and locker rooms and all that. This is an issue that Congress has never had to address before, and we're going to do that in deliberate fashion with member consensus on it, and we will accommodate the needs of every single person. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Now, notice on the news clip I just played for you, they skipped right over the part of him being asked whether that person is a man or a woman. And they just went right to the bathroom question. If you answer the man-woman question, the bathroom question becomes moot. And so we have to just automatically skip over the first question because the first question is the only question. Is it a man or a woman? There is no in-between, and there is no stepping back and forth between the two. You simply are one or the other.
Do you plan on bringing
Nancy Mace's transgender bill and putting that into the rules package?
I'm not going to address the plans on any of that. I just told you what I'm going to say about the issue. I'm not going to engage in this. We don't look down upon anyone. We treat everybody with dignity and respect. That's a principle that I've pursued my whole life, and we will take care of this, issue of first impression for Congress, as we will any other thing. We'll provide appropriate accommodation for every member of Congress.
Now, that was early in that day where he was sort of asked a question, is that a man or a woman? And he kind of waffled. He didn't address the question head on, is that a man or a woman? Now, later in the day, he seemed to stiffen his spine a little bit.
Hello, everybody. I just want to make a statement for all of you here and be very clear. I was asked a question this morning at the leadership gaggle, and I rejected the premise because the answer is so obvious. For anybody who doesn't know my well-established record on this issue, let me be unequivocally clear. A man is a man, and a woman is a woman, and a man cannot become a woman. That said, I also believe, that's what Scripture teaches, what I just said, but I also believe that we treat everybody with dignity. And so we can do and believe all those things at the same time. And I wanted to make that clear for everybody because there's lots of questions, but that's where I stand. I've stood there my whole life, and those are facts. Hello, everybody. I just want to make a statement for all of you here and be very clear. I was asked a question this morning at the leadership gaggle, and I rejected the premise because the answer is so obvious. For anybody who doesn't know my well-established record on this issue, let me be unequivocally clear. A man is a man, and a woman is a woman, and a man cannot become a woman. That said, I also...
Well, you heard him. He said it unequivocally. Finally, I don't know what took him so long, but he finally got to the point. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. Thank you for clearing that up. I don't know what I would have done without you.
Here she goes. Here's Congresswoman Mace. Congresswoman Mace, can I ask you a question as you walk here? So the question is, with your piece of legislation about banning women from using...
100% yes.
My question to you is...
It doesn't go far enough. I'll be filing more bills.
You have said that it was created in response to Congresswoman-elect McBride.
100%. And
but should legislation be created targeted at one specific person?
It doesn't mention anyone in the legislation, but
you've said it was aimed at her.
No, I have said it's a result of this. I'm not going to allow biological men into women's private spaces. I will stand in the brink and stand in the way of anyone on the radical left who thinks that it's okay for a penis to be in a women's locker room or a bathroom or a changing room. Hell no. I'm not going to stand for it. And
I actually agree with you on this, Nancy. I do not want a penis in the woman's locker room. Unless the locker room's empty and he's like the janitor who has to clean up and shit. There should be no penis in the women's locker room.
the speaker said it would be in the House rules package. If it's not, I will be ready with a motion, a privileged motion to force a vote on this. This is not okay. I'm a survivor of rape. I'm a survivor of sexual abuse. And I'm not going to allow any man in any female private spaces.
Now, Speaker,
end of story. And by the way, I'm getting death threats from men pretending to be women. Why is it that these crazy people, the insanity, the radical left, are willing to kill women over a man's right to be in a women's restroom?
Speaker.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of death threats, here goes.
I condone murder. I condone it. I think that we need to hold our politicians accountable by murdering them. And I think we need to hold J.K. Rowling accountable by murdering her too. And I'm like so very serious about this. I'm so passionately serious about this. I think that we should just all come together and murder everyone. I think, you know, like things would be better, you know, like we would just be so much happier in life if us as trans people just came together and murdered a bunch of people. Like, I think that really would like solve all of our problems. I condone murder. I condone it. I think.
Why are so many of them like that?
Speaker Johnson has said he wants to treat every new member with the words dignity and respect. Forcing this congressperson to go into a male restroom, is that dignity and respect?
Forcing women to share private spaces with men is not dignity and not respect. And I'm absolutely going to stand in the way of anyone who thinks it's okay for a man to be in our locker room, in our changing rooms, in our dressing rooms, in women's bathrooms. And in fact, if you agree with that, you're crazy, because that's not okay. It's not okay.
Congresswoman,
Thank you, Congressman. We're going to peel away from this conversation, Kira. So a little bit of the context of what we were just talking about, and I'm going to have my cameraman step out of the active driveway here, was that Nancy Mace put forward this piece of legislation. It was aimed, she said, although the name is not in the legislation, at a new member of Congress, Sarah McBride of Delaware, who is a transgender woman. She has said that the legislation would prevent women from using male restrooms and vice versa in the United States Capitol. Speaker Johnson has said, he made a statement earlier today where he said he believes, a quote, man is a man and woman is a woman, but he also called for, as you heard me ask the congressman about, dignity and respect for new members of Congress, and that would include this new member of Congress, Sarah McBride from Delaware, who is a transgender woman. All of that to say, this is now an issue that Congress is forced to grapple with here, and one that they've never been forced to grapple with before, because Sarah McBride is the first trans person elected to the United States House of Representatives.
You know, speaking of an issue we've never had to grapple with before, America, Joe Biden just gave Ukraine the official approval to use American hypersonic missiles and launch them into main Russian territory. And now Russia is threatening nuclear first strike in response to such obvious intervention and, frankly, naked aggression on the behalf of America. So we are on the edge, even closer. We've already been on the edge, but now we have official nuclear threats. It's no longer hypothetical. Putin is saying flat out, I will press the button if y'all keep fucking with me. And we're over here debating whether or not this troon should use the ladies' room. It's actually brilliant if you think about it. It's actually fucking amazing. We live in the most interesting time in the history of the world. We're on the edge of nuclear exchange, World War III, fucking fallout, and America is debating whether or not our new troon representative can piss with the girls.
And it's very much unclear at this hour what Mike Johnson plans to do, although Nancy Mace is under the impression that her resolution or something of the like will now go into the new House of Representatives rules package, which would theoretically be voted on and approved by the next Congress come January.
And just trying to look back at Trump's ads as he was running for president, I mean, he's probably going to be right along with Nancy Mace if she pushes for this. She won't get any pushback from the president-elect, right?
It's very much unclear. We know that President-elect Trump made targeting Kamala Harris's position on transgender issues a key point of his campaign. And we also know that he's given Speaker Mike Johnson, the president-elect has, rope to essentially run the House of Representatives how he sees fit. So it's really up to Mike Johnson at this hour, and it's really hard to parse what Mike Johnson wants to do. Again, he made that statement just moments ago before cameras. He made a point, actually, to call cameras for this impromptu public statement where he walked out to cameras in a way that was
It's fucking amazing to me that we have to entertain this shit instead of dealing with world crises, bro. That's the worst part of this troon debate, is that we actually have to take it serious just because of the nature of our politics and our institutions and whatnot. Like, we actually have to take this shit serious, right? It's not me doing a YouTube show because I'm uniquely interested in this shit. This shit is actually an impediment to America tackling global nuclear fallout type of issues. And it's fucking stupid. This is why Trump won the way he won. This right here. Because as fucked up as it might sound, I would rather have zero transgenders and just focus 100% on the world crises that is in front of us right now. This whole thing is retarded. It's like we are actually, and as much as liberals and the left wing sort of people talk about, global catastrophe, nuclear Armageddon and global warming and all this shit, it's actually the left that is pushing us to world war. And they would rather fight for gay rights than have world peace, bro. That's the crazy thing about it. Gay rights is more important than world peace.
Plan said he believes a man is a man and a woman is a woman. I'm quoting him here, and then went on to say that he believes that each member of the House, each new member, and every member in general should be afforded dignity and respect. So we don't quite know where he lands on this, but Nancy Mace has said that he promised her that her opinion on this and her position on this and her resolution, which you just heard her outline there speaking to me, will be included in this new rules package put forward by the House of Representatives come January.
Now, Chuckle in the chat says, Putin is out here saying that he's about it. He don't think the U.S. is really about that life. If you were to look at the U.S., you're sitting in your Moscow office and you're examining all that you can witness from America, and you see us up here debating whether or not this dude gets to piss with the girls, would you think that we were about it? We look like Vicks right now. We look like the sweetest Vic that ever strolled down a bad block, bro. We look like the easy. We look like walking licks right now. Walking down the street, counting money with our titties out. We just look like the easiest Vicks in the world, bro. This shit is retarded. This shit is fucking crazy. And to be fair, I think this all started when we let women vote. But now, because we let women vote, we got to let the women fight the men out the women's room. Because the women vote, and it's their problem.
But they're sick of the trans ideology being shoved down our throats. And it's an attack on women and children all over the country. I don't think Nancy Mace's resolution does enough. I think we need to do more. That's what I asked Speaker Johnson, and he committed to me in the conference that that Sarah McBride will not be using our restrooms.
It's been reported that you said you'd get into a physical altercation with a biological male if you saw them in the bathroom. Would you get into a physical altercation with?
How is that reported? How is that reported?
It's
how is that reported?
It's been on social media that was.
So how is that reported?
I'm just wondering if you would get into a physical altercation with.
I shouldn't have to, but I shouldn't have to do that. No woman should have to. But look at what men have been doing to women. Look.
Don't blame men. Because women voted, you now have to fight men off in the ladies' room. Men were perfectly fine letting women have their bathrooms and their girls' club and their sports teams, and you girls could have had all that stuff, but you kept on pushing. You pushed too far. You wanted your little weird-looking male allies to have their way too, right? And now this is what you get for being an ally. Now you can't even piss in peace no more. You can't take a shit without some troom banging on a stall door asking you to share the toilet paper.
Look at all the female athletes that have had to compete against men. You know, there's a volleyball player that has brain damage today because of a biological male spiking a ball into her head. Should any woman have to endure that? So if you're going to ask stupid questions like that, don't advocate for mentally ill men pretending to be women invading our spaces. You're a woman yourself, and you
know what, dirty folks, I'm actually with you on this. Women do not get to own offense to the transgender issue. And I made the argument earlier in the stream. The transgender issue is a direct threat to men. Women, I argue that women are like a tangential victim of the transgender issue. Because think about it like this. This is why women are only incidental victims of transgenders. The handful of cases where a woman got knocked up by a transgender, it was literally in women's prison, which women voted for this kind of bullshit. So, you know, snake ate its tail. But being in prison, it's a minority situation. Out in the real world, where the transgenders have a wide target selection, the transgender main target is not an unsuspecting female. The transgender's main target is the unsuspecting male. And not only that, the more I thought about this issue, I argue that transgenderism is inherently predatory. You can't separate predation from transgenderism. They are predators born through and through. They are such predators, they are willing to permanently alter their physical appearance, their biological reality, to hunt and attract their prey. This is apex predator shit. Fucking trapdoor spiders are basically on the transgender level. It's like I'm just gonna lay and let you sit around and graze and nibble until everything's cool. And then just when you least suspect it, bam, gotcha, nigga, can't run. Like that's some highly predatory shit. That's some trapdoor spider shit. And that's basically, you know, the MO, right? That's the hunting method. And so as I really think about what it is and what it represents and how they present in the world and how they operate in the world, like, you guys are fucking predators. And I don't know if I can be, I don't know if I could be convinced otherwise. Like, I would really do that whole Steven Crowder sit down on the college campus, change my mind, convince me that they're not natural predators. And your prey is unsuspecting males. You know, like when we were watching those 1950s PSAs about child predators, most of the victims were boys. Most of those victims were boys. Yeah, yes, dirty folks, all men are predators, but we're not talking about sexual predation. All men are not sexual predators. I am talking about a unique, specific, honed type of predation. And the transgenders are predators of boys and men. And not only that, that's on a physical, like boots on the ground level. As an ideology, transgenderism seeks to prey on what we call traditional masculinity. Yes, predators of reality. Exactly. There you go.
You shouldn't accept predators in your bathrooms.
Do you think Congresswoman McBride is mentally ill?
Yes, he's mentally ill. He's a biological man pretending to be a woman. That's a mental illness. There's something wrong with him.
Did you say that you get physical altercation?
Where is that being reported? I shouldn't have to. But is that, you know, it's pretty aggressive for biological men to be invading our spaces. We're women. Why do we have men coming in our spaces? So if he is aggressively coming in our bathrooms, then we should be able to defend ourselves. And the men in our conference, the men in leadership should be defending us too.
Yo, if they jump that motherfucker, It's MAGA country. Oh fuck! I would love that. I would love that for Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nancy Mace and maybe one other female. Hell, make it one of the men. Let one of the men get involved because fuck it. Those are my girls. You can't fight my girls like that. This nigga over here beating up on the girls. That's a female. Let's fucking go. They gotta whip that nigga ass in the bathroom. That'll be so fucking lit. They gotta whip that nigga ass in the bathroom, and then they gotta scream, "It's MAGA country." That's the only way. That's the only way. That's what we need. That is what we need. I'm betting. I am putting an official wager that there is an altercation in the ladies' room. If they don't sort this shit out, that motherfucker gonna walk up in the ladies' room, and you know Marjorie Taylor Greene. That bitch do pull-ups. She probably could do more pull-ups than me because I ain't been working out like that lately. She's probably in better shape than me. She'd probably kill me on the pull-up bar right now. And I got her beating that nigga ass. That nigga is a fucking tech support nerd in a dress. I got her washing that motherfucker all over the ladies' room. Get that nigga a swirly.
America.
A congressional swirly. We bringing swirlies back to Congress, bro. That's how we doing. We gonna MAGA so hard, we bringing swirlies back. First is going to start in Congress, and then they're going to spread out across the country. We're bringing swirlies back, y'all.
America has spoken. Look, here's the issue. For all of you in the press, you need to understand this. America is fed up with the trans ideology being shoved into our face. Men are not women. They cannot have periods.
They cannot have periods. Let's fucking go.
They have rights.
They have rights. So fucking what, man?
They cannot have babies, and they should not compete against women in sports, and they don't belong in our women's bathrooms, our private places, our prisons, and
Yes. Ew. Ew. You said just take his yams in the ladies' room. Bro, what's up with your avatar, bro? Chill. Chill. Bro, your avatar. We gonna need security. Hey, security. We got a weird looking avatar in the gulag. What the fuck's going on here, man? Jesus Christ.
Number one, I want to see this in the House rules package. I want to make sure that no men are in women's private spaces, and it's not going to end here. This shouldn't be going on any federal property. If you're a school or an institution that gets government funding, this kind of thing should be banned. I think it's sick. It's twisted. I have fought like hell for women's rights. I mean, 25 years ago this year, I became the first woman to break the glass ceiling and
Feminism fighting feminism is so fucking peak. I love this shit. This is all I ever wanted from doing political commentary, yo. Feminism fighting feminism. And honestly, I have no dog in this fight. Unless it's my daughter going into a bathroom, I really don't give a shit. I say you girls got to figure this out. All right, I mean, it's the nigga in the dress, but this is what you wanted, so go and fight that nigga.
graduate from a military college that was formerly all male. And to see the way that I've been attacked today and last night for fighting to protect women and girls, it's ridiculous. So if that being a feminist makes me an extremist, I'm totally here for it.
Is this effort in response to
This is exactly what you get for being a feminist, by the way. This is feminism coming to fuck you in your own bathroom. And yes, unlike you lesbians, this feminism has a real dick. Trans feminism has real dick, and you will get fucked in your own bathroom. I'm sorry, was that a little much?
Congresswoman McBride coming to Congress?
Yes, and absolutely, and then some. I'm not going to stand for a man. If someone with a penis is in the women's locker room, that's not okay. And I'm a victim of abuse myself. I'm a rape survivor. I have PTSD from the abuse I've suffered at the hands of a man. And I know how vulnerable women and
Stop blaming men. Men are the only guys. We're the only people, frankly, because women were never really on the side. Women were kind of low-key supporting the gay movement because gay and feminism were always sort of linked. And so the feminists and the gays, they always like shared the agenda. And the bad guy was always men. So don't blame men. Men tried to stop this shit. You stopped us from beating these guys up in high school. You told us smear the queer was offensive and rude, and we had to call it another game. And you made us play throw up tackle like a bunch of little bitches. Don't blame the fucking men. We used to smear the queer, and now look at you.
Girls are in private spaces. So I'm absolutely 100% going to stand in the way of any man who wants to be in a women's restroom, in our locker rooms, in our changing rooms. I will be there fighting you every step of the way.
How do you think the speaker should address this? Just in the House rules package, or?
A House rules package would be fine, but we can't stop there. I mean, I'm working on legislation that would ban it on federal property. I'm working on legislation if you are a school that is funded by the federal government, this shouldn't go on. And if I'm being fought like this as a member of Congress across the country by mainstream media like you, imagine what the underage girl goes through at her school. The shame, seeing a biological male in a women's space in a girl's restroom or in her locker room, it's crazy.
This is why I want my girls doing girly stuff like art. My youngest wants to get into the medical field, and my oldest, she's still really young, so she just likes to draw and paint. None of them want to chase balls around with lesbians in college. You girls did this to yourself. I feel nothing. Is humor an emotion? If I were to describe my feeling, it's not nothing. Laughter, comedy. I feel humorous.
And if McBride wants to go to the gym, she can go to Planet Fitness, where they allow biological men to be around in a room in a private space with underage girls.
Damn, that bitch said you can't use your workplace restroom. You got to walk all the way down the block to Planet Fitness. You probably got to walk through like some shitty black neighborhood because it's DC and that's where niggas live. That's crazy. That's crazy. You got to risk getting robbed by some niggas just to take a shit during work hours. Don't you have a bathroom in your office, by the way?
Like, no, thank you. It's not going to happen, not on my watch, and I'm going to stand in the way of anyone who's crazy enough to let men into women's spaces. It's not a thing. It's not going to be a thing up here. I'm going to fight like hell for all women and girls. Thank you.
Could you meet with McBride?
Yeah. I don't know where this is going to go. It's funny that we actually have to pass a bill. Trump actually gave a speech. I played that for you the other day where Trump was basically tackling the culture war head on. And he said flat out, he wants to pass a law making it official that there are only two genders, which I love that idea for personal reasons. Because as a streamer, I hate the idea that I would get punished for something as goofy as misgendering. And so if you could legally just obliterate the idea of misgendering once and for all, that would be nice, Trump. I would really appreciate that, because I don't want YouTube fucking with my show because I say words that YouTube doesn't like. They already got enough no-no words. It's hard to keep up with all the words you're not supposed to say. But we are in a new age. It is officially MAGA country. From coast to fucking coast, bitch, it's MAGA country.
I'm writing with some unfortunate news. It seems the person who placed the order for your books wasn't entirely up to speed on our policies, and we have returned the boxes to you. Please see the tracking number below. While I think your book is very charming, it's just not something we can carry in our store at this time. I hope you understand. If you could process a refund once you receive the boxes, it would be greatly appreciated. We've taken care of the shipping cost. Be well. Tanya.
Oh my God.
Why are the gays so interested in writing children's books? Why? And notice this gay man has a wedding ring on.
Very charming. It's just not something we can carry in our store at this time. I hope you understand. If you could process a refund once you receive the boxes, it would be greatly appreciated. We've taken care of the shipping cost. Be well. Tanya.
Oh my God. This is the book. There's a bookstore that contacted me and they wanted to carry my book, The Secret Ingredient. They ordered 2 boxes. So it's like 100 books.
What do you think the secret ingredient was? I mean, it's not like I'm going to read his homosexual children's book and never find out, but for conversation's sake, what do you think the secret ingredient was? I bet it was gay. I don't know exactly what it was, but I bet it was gay. He said booty juice. David in the chat says sperm. OG YouTubers will remember this. There was a guy, he was like a left-wing douchebag. His name was Steve Shives. And I remember there used to be this clip of Steve Shives saying this one thing, using sperm. And it was so fucking cringe and weird. You guys ever see that Steve Shives clip where he just like using sperm? Yeah, I think Steve knew the secret ingredient. Years and years ago, there was a left-wing YouTuber. Nobody knows his name anymore, but I remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Steve Shives, he knew the secret ingredient was using sperm.
And I was really excited because that's just like an author's dream. Yeah. To have their book in a bookstore.
You got his little gay dog, too. I bet he's married to the dog. It's not even a real wedding. It's not even a real marriage. He married his goddamn dog.
I know. I'm okay, buddy. It's okay. And I thought they knew what it was all about. It's called The Secret Ingredient, but it's about these 2 penguins, 2 male penguins who adopt a...
Oh my God. Oh my God. Why is it about 2 male penguins? Why? Of all the penguins on all the icebergs, you had to write a book about the 2 weird ones. Oh, fucking hell. Why, dude? Why? And you had to write it for kids. You didn't even make it like a weird kink thing for grown-ups that you had to buy at some like secret shop. You made it a kid's book. This is why your kind used to get beat up in high school, because we always knew.
And I thought they knew what it was all about. It's called The Secret Ingredient, but it's about these 2 penguins, 2 male penguins who adopt a little baby. And in the book, they deliver cakes to different birthday parties.
They didn't adopt a baby. They stole an egg. There's a penguin couple on the iceberg fighting like cats and dogs because they don't know what happened to the egg. He looking at her like, bitch, every fucking time I knock you up, something happened. And she looking at him like, well, you were supposed to be here. You were supposed to protect my eggs. You did this. There was a fucking penguin couple miserable right now because these 2 weirdos stole a fucking egg. And now they're off in New York City selling birthday cakes and shit. What kind of book is this? What the fuck did you write? Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Different types of families. You know, some with 2 moms, some with 2 dads. Here's the daddy sloth and the papa sloth one. Here, these are
all the animals gay? Wait a minute. What kind of nature book? You see, this is why you can't let them do many things. Like, they can have Hollywood jobs, all right? You want to do makeup and choreography and write songs and musicals. I'm not hating on that. The Sound of Music, it was an American classic. All right, fine. But you can't do children's books because we leave you alone to write a children's book and all the animals are gay. What are the children supposed to think in a children's book where all the animals are male, and female couples? What the fuck are the kids supposed to do with a children's book like this? That's not how it works in the jungle. This is not the Jungle Book that they're supposed to be reading. This is why your shit's not for sale at the bookstore, goddammit. That's why you just got that AI rejection letter. This motherfucker really wrote a kid's book where all the animals are butt plugging each other. Why, dude? Why? I don't even think most animals give it up like that. That's just like one or two weird species.
Moms, some with two dads. Here's the daddy sloth and the papa sloth one. Here, these are the seagull moms.
What's the difference between daddy sloth and papa sloth? And why do children need to think about these things? And not for nothing, but don't you think that maybe you're just like weird and you're making the kids feel weird and awkward trying to introduce this shit to them? It's like a puzzle that can't be solved. You know, I'm gonna tell you a story. So the other day, a couple streams back, I told you guys my son, he was at school. He goes to some I'm not gonna say fancy, but it's a nice school in Brooklyn. It's like a private school, and it's like a bunch of Asian and white kids in there. You know, he's with the smart crowd, and he's on the chart that I expect. You know, calls me one day, and he tells me that they had this like meeting in the auditorium. You know how it was back in the day. All the classes meet up in the auditorium, and they do like a presentation or whatever. But all the kids get in the auditorium and everybody on stage is gay, talking about some gay shit. It was like a gay awareness thing or whatever. And so that was like a couple weeks ago. My son's telling me like, you know, like they had this crazy shit. And he's like, why would they do that? He's asking me, why would they do that? Like even at his young age, he feels the weirdness of it, right? And a week or two after that, right? It's me and my son. It's just the two of us together, and he asked me this question. The shit made me fucking laugh. It cracked me the fuck up because it was such a profound question, but he's a kid with a childlike innocence, and I couldn't help but to laugh because plus I wanted to ignore the question in the moment because it was so awkward and weird. But so at this gay presentation, one of the speakers is one of his friends' dad. So as it turns out, one of his friends at this new school has a gay dad, right? So, you know, whatever, you know, I ain't got nothing to say about that. It is what it is. Nothing for me to say anything about yet. I'm going to let you learn life. Here's the question though. My son asked me, if my friend's dad is gay, and he doesn't have a mom, then like how could he come to be? Like how is he here if he doesn't have a mom? All I could do is laugh, bro. I was like, that's a great fucking question. And then the boy, because he knows I'm sarcastic, he looks at me and he like, you're not just being sarcastic, are you? And I'm like, yes, but no. Like, it's a really fucking good question. He seriously asked me, well, if he doesn't have a mom, like, well, then how is he, like, how? Oh, shit. Yes, Andre, I was cracking up at the fact that he put it together, but not only did he put it together and I was impressed by that, I was cracking up at the fact that he was legitimately stumped. He couldn't, like, he could put the question together, but he couldn't put the answer together, and it just yeah, he really asked me, like, well, if he doesn't have a mom, then how is he how is he here? Because at this point, the boy understands the rudimentary concept of like reproduction. Like, it takes a man and a woman. His mom and I in our own time have talked to him about this basic stuff. You know what I mean? And you know how it is with kids. You tell them the simple, light things. They don't get into graphics, right? But he understands that. All right, well, mom and dad made me. So how does dad and some guy? Jesus fuck, I'm so confused. I gotta ask my dad. Oh fuck. He was stumped. I swear to God. It was a serious fucking question. It was a serious question. This is, oh man, father-son moments, bro. It's nothing like it. It's nothing like it. This is all I ever wanted in life was father-son moments. Oh, fuck. Not like this, but it's still hilarious. So after a few minutes of laughter, like I'm basically in tears. I'm wiping my eye right now because this shit is so hilarious. Because this shit really fucking happened. Like, he really asked me, like, well, my friend's dad is gay, right? So like, if you don't have a mom, how did you make him? Like, how? Oh fuck, man. Kids are so innocent. This shit is so sweet. It is fucking such a real question, bro. Such a real question. Yes, the math wasn't mathing. I had to teach him some advanced grown up math. Like, bro, niggas be cheating. That's grown up math, bro. The gays be cheating. I had to explain to him, bro. They had to borrow a baby. They had to borrow a baby, man. That's the only way to make the square the circle, bro. That's the only way to square the circle. You got to borrow a baby. So I explained to him that he probably adopted a kid. I didn't want to get even worse with like surrogacy and maybe he rented out a womb for 9 months or whatever. I don't want to make it too complicated. He's only 11. Jesus Christ. This is a powerful question for an 11-year-old, but fuck. That shit made me laugh for like a block. We walked the whole block and I just couldn't stop laughing. Just the thought of it, like, wow, fucking hell. He really asked that. That shit was on his mind too. I bet you he'd just be in math class, just staring across the class, staring at that nigga like, how, bro? How, bro? That nigga just be looking at you in class like the fucking numbers be running through his mind and none of the numbers be computing properly. Nigga just be staring across the room looking at his friend like, how? Fuck, bro, how? I gotta get to the bottom of this shit, bro. Somebody gotta tell me how, bro. Just looking at this nigga, just staring at this nigga, just eyes burning with intensity and shit. One is the loneliest number that there'll ever be. This nigga trying to do all kind of impossible math problems and shit.
The two moms. And at the end of the book, they get their own baby. They adopt a little baby. There they are. But I can only think of one reason they don't want to carry it. I honestly, when I saw the email, I thought that we're going to order more books. So now I'm going to get a refund to them instead. If you want the book, I sell it here. I wrote it. I illustrated it.
Nah, fuck you. You ain't plugging your book on my channel. Fuck that shit. Fuck your book, nigga. Anybody want to read that bullshit? Trying to sneak that shit and sell it to children. Fuck out of here.
You're sad that people are mean? Well, I'm sorry. The world isn't one big liberal arts college campus. Fuck you. You're all pricks.
All right, anyway, listen. Thank you guys for tuning in. That has been the show for the evening. I appreciate you guys for watching. You guys are a loyal audience. You tune in all the time. Thank you so much for coming through. Shout out to everybody who donates and supports the stream. Like, share, and subscribe. Please toss $1 in the hat on your way out. Please bless the collection plate as you leave the church. We got to get the fuck up out of here. You guys have a great night, y'all.
Aspiring to be patriarchs like what white men have, that isn't freedom. That isn't going to help anybody. It's certainly not going to help Black people.
Good afternoon, boys and girls. Shut the fuck up.
Hey, not nice.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Do you need to leave? No, bitch.
Okay.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.